What you doing there? Well, this 69 LeMans original distributor we took out when we put HEI, it needs disassembled to clean all the gunk out and get the advance freed up, and we're going to use it, and it's electronic converted. We're going to put it in the 69 Firebird 455 to give it a stock appearing electronic ignition. The roll pin I've knocked loose from the other side, fixing to pull it out so I can get the gear off, then clean all the goopy crap out from the shaft and get it all nice and clean, and we'll get it back together. The exact correct tool, by the way, for GM guys is a quadrajet bolt. It just fits in the hole. Perfect for driving out your roll pin. See? It's done. This is the gear, and there's like a little washer right there. Then I've got it partially pulled up. I'm going to run some carb cleaner down the hole. Got that apart. I'd used a hammer and knocked it out. There's the spring advance stuff off the top and the shaft, but you got to get this piece. See, you got to get that off and clean in there too. So that's your advance. Well, after the pop-up tornadic-ish severe thunderstorm passed, I had to go to the vise, use some heat, hammers, spray. It took a lot. It appears that it's galled up pretty bad down in here, and I had to flat file some of this to help slide off this piece. Of course, this piece got contorted from hitting it with a punch in the close to the center, but it still deflected it. I may go pull another distributor apart and just rob the parts or straighten that up. I don't know. This is pretty raggedy, and it's got hot spots in it. A little junky, so I don't know. Let me go look, see how many Pontiac point distributors I have. I had 4 Oldsmobile points distributors. I think this one is the wagon original. I think that's a 70, so I'm not going to tear it up. This one moves freely. It's a 72, I think. So I'll probably pull into that. This is, I think, a 68. I'm not sure on this one. At least to maybe get that bracket part. So I got a 72 Olds distributor apart pretty quickly because it was smooth. You could tell it wasn't locked up. And apparently they've improved the oiling on the shaft. See, this is 69 and it's galled up, oil starved, and this 68 Olds distributor, it's gummy and stuck. And so this thing not galled and has spirals on it. I can't use the shaft because the shaft's different, but this part will be the same, so I'll at least not have to deal with this mangulated piece of garbage. But good to know. Anyway, I do have another Pontiac distributor, but it's electronic converted and complete. I don't want to rip it apart, so I'm trying to just go with, I may just clean this shaft up with a file. We'll see. I did some flat filing on here and scuffed it up, try to get high spots, but had some 100 grit paper and a drill, so I'm not saying to do this, but I might do this. I'd say that's pretty satisfying and easy to do. I kind of think if there's any grooves below the load surface, those are oil, or rather wheel bearing grease retentive grooves designed in, custom. I think the shaft is good enough to assemble with grease, but now I'm pretty sure that vacuum advance didn't work, so now hopefully I won't have to buy a new one. I can just test and find a vacuum advance that actually works, because I really don't want to put it in the car with a bad one. One man brake bleeder on the Olds distributor that was in better shape, and as you see, vacuum advance works. it pulled vacuum and held. The other one didn't. So with more effort than I'd like, got both vacuum vents off. If you see that 20 on the right side there, that's 20 degrees vacuum advance unit. You can see the slot shorter. The Olds is a 24 degree, and we really don't want 20 or 24, we want less. And of course new distributors have adjustable vacuum advances and whatnot, and we're just doing an old hot rod thing. We'll throw that out because it's bad. But if you see this travel area, in the past, when you do a performance ignition timing tune-up on your car, a lot of times you want to restrict the vacuum advance. You still want some, but you don't want 20 or 24 degrees. You might want 12 or 10 or 8, something in there. So what I've done in the past is clean this metal off, and I've already sanded it, and I've actually JB welded a coin or a washer on there around half the distance to stop the travel when the vacuum's applied, thus making it a non-adjustable limited vacuum advance. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that on this, because I know I don't want 24, and half is about what I want, 12-ish. So that's what I'm going to do. This is just an old hot rodding thing I come up with a long time ago. Fix me up a little JB weld on the concrete, because you know that's what you do. I start it with a screwdriver, you know, wipe it off before it dries. There's a little bitty washer. Got some on here that I had sanded and brake cleaned. We're just gonna guess and call that good to go. Maybe flip that in the light where you can see it. Basically limiting the travel. Maybe I'll scoot it a little more. Either way, I think we're good to go. So that's gonna have to dry overnight and put it together tomorrow. While the JB weld's drying, went ahead and hand painted black Rust-Oleum on these JA69 coated rally wheels that are for the Firebird. Painted them metallic silver and then lacquer clear over that to dull it a little, and then did some just hand brushed black Rust-Oleum, give it a bolder contrast than the factory. Already did the other two. So hopefully some Goodyear polyglass F70s will go on those next week.